Got plenty of time for this video. I don't work till 1:30, and it's only what 9:15 a.m. and certainly things to talk about is I sit back and watch this absurdity that is Erin. The hell is wrong with this woman? She's just mind-blowingly absurd. Of course, from the get-go, she wanted everything to be about her anyway. So, with that variable in place, it begins to clarify a garbage that comes out of her mouth and garbage that comes out through her social media post. And here I am. I did if I can find the screen cap of comments underneath her video. She's the type of person I think is that doesn't matter what kind of attention she gets, negative or positive, it's all good, even though it's all good until shit really hits the fan. It's all a fantasy when you hide behind a YouTube channel, but when reality comes along and say, oh, here's the real world, she can't cope. Because she'd rather delude herself into things that have nothing to do with the reality that is there and will never go away. Right. Just trying to find an image. Hold on. Where is it? There we go. I mean, it's just, there was a number of things I could find to clarify that. Screen cap actually go to the video post actually as well. Funny, EKC people suck. Yeah, you suck. You're projecting. You really suck. Seriously. Wow. She did this live where she said, I'm still in Kansas. Update stream. And somebody in there, lots of comments under there, and you see all these commenters that's weak-minded enough to repeat and support what she says without debate. Erin's weak-minded enough to repeat and support without debate what Steve said, and this is like they all echo chamber each other, and it's very comical and funny to me that Steve has got so socially inept as he is when he's like an advocate of attacking the idea, not the person, and he goes and attacks people like Shara, who evidently is not anything like the shitty image that they wanted to paint her as. But, just go and repeat what Steve says, because Steve said so. It must be true, because Steve said so. And it is very much like that in their repetition, doubling down, this desperation for attention. And you guarantee everyone wanted everything being about herself, and she would go to great lengths for try and do that and fall flat on her face because she's not intelligent enough to perpetuate that in a manner that most people can see. They're not going to pull the wool over most people's eyes. But just like Donald Trump, he would curate idiots, so just repeat him. And the whole misinformation or repetition of, not even misinformation, just repetition of information. And sure, it's misinformation that Charlotte is in any way, shape or form, how they wanted to color Charlotte as. And I do wonder what Erin and Vader imagined Charlotte to be like before they met her in court, or saw her in court at least. From the best I can understand, that they would have seen her in court. And yeah, well done, Charlotte. You was in that mod call. Well done. And as Cheshire said, you got some balls to do that. Just sit there and not say a word and listening to them like, oh, what are we gonna do? It's like, Steve just regurgitated some crap that Mania was committing fraud only because she wanted her money back from a GoFundMe page, and it's not that's not against GoFundMe's terms of service. As far as I understand, you have perfect right to ask for your money back. And they, for what you have all your right to do that. At the same time as doing that, at the same time, by the way, wanted to claim that Cheshire was somehow going to blackmail Steve, and there's no evidence of that. People would just, like Aaron and other bullshitters, would just go ahead and repeat it as if it was gospel truth. There's something to be said about the childishness, sound drunk, childishness of these people. And there, one metaphor I think that fits very well is they're like the child in the middle of the night that's had a nightmare, and like let's say there's a coat draped over a chair or something. There's moonlight coming through the window and hitting the chair and the coat, the ruffles and shape silhouette of the coat is causing a shadow on a wall somewhere because of the moonlight, and it looks like somebody's in the corner waiting to pounce. And they believe this thing. People fear what they can't see or what they don't know what it is, and that fear spurs energy into the imagination, I guess, and it spurs your imagination, to feel, what if, oh, this and that. So and so has said it could be this and that. Oh, it must be. We're all scared, and we need to go on an attack. Turn a light on. There's nothing there. Charlotte obviously clearly exists as a person, but they created a completely fictional character and added Charlotte's name to it and used all that to attack Charlotte. Oh, you're doing this and doing that. You can see it kind of that way. Charlotte politely asked, leave me alone. And it's so mind-blowingly cowardly and ironic. We'll get to ironicness with Steve in a bit. That Steve's drive was to expose Katie Joy Paulson. And yeah, Katie Joy Paulson's an asshole. And it's just do a little bit of research, yeah. And Paulson will use drama trains here and there. However, Charlotte probably got kicked out of this Facebook page because she's a good person who that's my educated guess. I don't know if that's true. Whatever reason she was kicked out of a Facebook page that Katie Joy Paulson was running, I don't know. Does anybody know? I don't know. But with looking at the past, with how things are consistent, again, Katie Joy Paulson will just use weak-minded people to suck up to her and repeat what she says. Erin will use weak-minded people to suck up to her and repeat what she says. Steve will use weak-minded people and suck up to him and repeat what he says. I mean, it's so funny with Steve. We'll get to the irony again in a bit. And they just made this. She probably got kicked out because she wasn't. It sounds like how Cheshire's description of her is like a lovely family-orientated person, caring, grounded, although stress, obviously. She gets kicked out of a Facebook page run by Katie Joy Paulson, or something to do with Katie Joy Paulson, and then was being attacked prior but gets kicked out and then continues to being attacked anyway. How about, well, Steve's drive was to expose Katie Joy Paulson, but it was, let's attack one of the mods by proxy, attacking Katie Joy Paulson via Charlotte. That's a bit weak, isn't it? I mean, all this for all these years on and on. It's like, I'm going to expose this woman, and then it's just attacking people who have been duped into supporting Katie Joy Paulson, perhaps. Then not only is she kicked out of the page, they continue to attack, and she's politely asking, please leave me alone, but they go and double down. Because Steve's a fuck up. Right? And the rest of them are a fuck up, and they just carry on repeating what Steve says jump, and they all jump, right? Bizarre, absolutely bizarre. The funny thing with Steve is, like, always boast about being an advocate or attack the idea, not the person. And there he is going to attack the person without proof or justification for the reaction in the first place. And a so-called founder of a great debate community, but you must repeat what he says, otherwise he's not going to use the fake shield of pretending to debate in the first place. So that's not debating then, is it? I find that really funny. I mean, it's hilarious. All he's done is use people and use titles. This is the only reason he keeps defaulting to agnostic. None of the "are you agnostic?" I mean, he did a video live. He's got 3 channels, and he's got a channel over Rumble and all that. None of it's working out. He did a video, does ChatGPT prove God exists? It's absurd. It really is absurd. And it's like an attempt to look like controversial with trying to look like you're grabbing a controversial subject while being intelligent enough to trawl through it with intellect and coming out on top. But it doesn't. He's failing extremely bad at that. I mean, ChatGPT is a very dumb AI, and AI is getting dumber and dumber. That's a whole other video. Steve's getting dumber and dumber. I guess that's a whole other video. But this crap does not do anything for anybody. It doesn't come to a conclusion, helping people or helping people in a way so that once they're helped enough, they can help you back. Teamwork and look for solutions. But anything that opposes him is, no, I don't want that. And if you're transsexual, he pretends to invite you in. Let's talk, and then seemingly plenty of like transphobia, or the type of person would probably be gay phobia and all this. Why? And whatever. There's other things I can say about that, but it's so weird. And EKC, just Kyle Curtis admitted to doing coke. EKC is admitted to doing coke. She will deny it, probably at this point. But there it is. I forget which video it is. I think it was on Non Sequitur YouTube channel. And they're all talking about, oh, you don't. There's her typing into the chat. You don't know what you're missing. And she's very much admitted she does shrooms as well, mushrooms. And this person shows a lot of traits of very needy of more dopamine flooding their brain. Well, coke cocaine does is excessively flood the brain with dopamine as a reaction to the drug. So then you're addicted to your own dopamine levels, but you can't get it unless you get some more cocaine. That's sort of the vicious circle with that, and it deadens some of the receptors for dopamine in your brain, by the way, which is why you want more and more. And she's doing this with, yeah, I need more attention. It's about me, and I need you to pay attention in the way I want you to, so I can come out on top and go, hey, look at me. She wanted to use the court for clout. It's her own. She even labelled that fantasy, named it DramaCon. Let's get everybody come in and all this, just so that she could, her warped, pathetic ego that is in the way of other people's progress. Yeah, it's just like a very annoying spoiled child, nagging and I want me. It's about me. It's not about you, Aaron. What it's about, what the whole thing's about, is exposing people who harassed a person that no longer wants to be, and nobody wants to be harassed, right? And immediately she hears something like that, she split second twist. Yeah, but what about me? Nobody gives a shit about you if they got an IQ above dirt, other than exposing you for the shitty person you are. And, you know, definitely it's that kind of, that's the reality of this. So looking for a comment here, somebody said, comments underneath her, I'm still in Kansas, big deal, yeah. Just some thoughts and observations is what somebody said. What does KJ, Steve, EKC, Vader, Renal, and Unirock all have in common? They are creators that test free speech. I mean, no offense, but how a Facebook situation could get this out of hand, yeah, I totally agree, but how the hell are you so cowardly that you go, oh, we're not going to attack K-Joy, we're going to attack somebody who's completely left that behind, and has actually asked, please leave me alone? Wow, that's very cowardly. But you didn't have much else to, in your worldview, I guess, to utilize to try and question Steve. I think it was Steve claimed that Charlotte did this call for what he labelled as a spot, but no, it was a friendly knock on the door and the police saying, is everything okay? You know, so it was a what do you call it, disturbance of the peace, spot check, call, whatever. And we later learned the area has had many calls like that in the past before. So Steve blurts out, for some reason, for random reason on the spot, this time it was Charlotte with no evidence. Does that mean Charlotte all the other times? This is bizarre. And again, don't forget, there's still no proof of an innocence, because it's not what it is. You know, ask for money back from a GoFundMe. You're allowed to. You're actually allowed to do that and get refunded. He claimed that Cheshire was during the split up. Yeah. Oh, you're splitting away from me. You're not agreeing with me. Oh, I'm going to attack you. That's Steve's MO now. It's like, he said it himself. I'll paraphrase. I can't remember. It's out there, posted. He said something like, those who told me I'm going to die on this hill are not intellectually in shape enough. Intellect trying to look like you're intellectual is a very serious issue for Steve. He's extremely paranoid about that. Clearly, got some sleepers in my eyes. It really looks like it looks like that, and he would twist and use anything to in his fantasy to look superior in that manner. Mr. Great Debate. And you're not intellectually enough to join him on top of the hill, is what he's saying. It's something like that. Well, basically, what he's saying is, if you don't agree with me, you're shit. You're no good. I'm right. You're wrong. And nothing is that black and white. There's a whole bigger picture. There's no critical thinking being involved here. And again, yeah, prefrontal cortex is the executive part of our brain that, if used enough. They don't study if used enough. If you use your critical thinking enough, there's actually more density in the neurons in the prefrontal cortex that can change even in older age. The plasticity of the brain is being they keep finding new things of how you can keep that going as well. The adaptability. Caffeine, by the way, causes the brain to produce more adenosine receptors. Adenosine causes, once it fits into the receptors, you relax, you nod off, you go into sleep, right? It's a bit more complicated than that. There's other things that induce sleep along with this happening as well. However, if caffeine's in those receptors, you're awake all the time, and the receptor isn't being stimulated to cause sleep. Clearly, you look at Non-Sequitur Show, other shows, even to the present day, it's very clear that Steve's addicted to caffeine. Addiction to caffeine can be broken in a relatively short manner, but people who are really addicted, that short amount of time can be very, very rough for them. But then you're good to go. And your brain will readapt. But if you got a really raging headache in the morning, even a migraine, but you can't really, it doesn't go away until you've had caffeine, a strong coffee. That's caffeine addiction, aside from other side effects as well. It also affects your sleep pattern because adenosine, effectively, the worst thing you can do to caffeine to wake up in the morning is you only just woke up and then bang, coffee, strong coffee or some caffeinated beverage. Because it's like, there it goes in the doorway to the receptors, blocking the adenosine that you haven't even finished burning up yet to wake up. Once the caffeine just dissolves in the receptors and disappears, now the adenosine can get in. This is why you get a big crash after the caffeine built up. The best way to utilize, if you've got to drink a caffeinated beverage, is you wait till you're fully awake and then you use a caffeinated beverage. And after that, your adenosine is building up throughout the day, but it's not going to be built up too much. And, it's not going to be burnt up too much eventually throughout the day. So you get a better day over time. There's all kinds of ways to wean yourself on and off these things, and even your dopamine levels being used in more natural ways rather than using drugs to get a massive dopamine boost rammed in and then suddenly drops, which has you addicted to a particular drug. I've talked about, it's not about me, we'll get to this in a minute, this post, these comments, kind of all over the place here, but I'm focused on the health thing, and this is what the back of my brain. So I'll briefly say I've talked about things you can do to get your dopamine levels slowly rise up throughout the day, and then it slowly peak off. You get a sudden peak, you think, wow, I feel good, and then a sudden drop. You want to do the thing that caused it in the first place over, and that's addiction. But you get weaned on your higher levels of dopamine and then weaned back off. It's throughout the day. It's far more natural. A cold shower, among with other things I'm doing, does that for me. Regardless of me, this is not about me. I don't want to do the errand thing. Hey, look at me. This is all about me. The whole thing's about me. No. So yeah, this person was saying, I mean no offense, but how about a situation, how a Facebook situation could get this out of hand? Multiple platforms, multiple players, several fundraisers, several courts in several states. Steve is utter chaos right now. It was complete chaos with the bullshit he was trying to do, trying to label Mania as fraudulent. There is, interestingly, I try accusing people as fraudulent while releasing a receipt, a law pay receipt that looks kind of fraudulent. Looks that way. You do the research yourself. I mean, I looked at it, and law pay just have no answer for a number not fitting the legend of how the number should be laid out. They don't have any answer for it. It's not supposed to happen. Okay, there's that. And, claiming that Cheshire blackmailing him, or was he planning to blackmail Cheshire? All that Cheshire ever did to Steve was like just leave him behind. Other people followed Cheshire because she was really instigating all these things that the community was looking for. Not instigating. Instigating is the wrong word. Continuation and perpetuation of what the community was looking for, and was like, oh, you're doing that. Steve's a dick. We go with you then. Because Steve, you're really falling flat on his face, and you do wonder if Kyle Curtis, as I'm not gonna really praise Kyle in any way. He's a complete asshole, horrible individual. But was it aggressive takeover? I doubt it. Steve has proved himself to be very technically inept over and over, and I think he kind of. I don't think he's not accepting that, but in his worldview, he thinks he's just not capable, so he accepts that. When that could be changed, he could learn something, right? So he gets everyone else to do all his modding, all this for him, and when he tries himself, he falls flat on his face. It's like, this template I'm using, just download it, a bit of free graphics and royalty free. It's not even. It just doesn't. It's not even that difficult with OBS. You just change a few things here and there, and this is on OBS. Nothing really advanced. Aaron's very inept. Oh, how do you do it? I don't know how to do an intro with OBS. It's very easy. But speaking of which, I need to do intros here and there. I mean, granted, my recordings, my posts are not live. It can be a bit more difficult doing live, but the whole layouts, and if you get a tidy surroundings, speaking of which, desk is a little bit untidy at the moment, but or tidy, I don't know, your production, all that is a result of a tidy mind. Erin just looks like a very convoluted, messy mind, and it shows in how she presents even her videos. It does show. It's just, if I was to bring something in and just cover over all the template in an awkward place to start with, it's a sign of, you're not you don't know what you're doing, sort of thing. Um, and what I do, like, again, I'm making this about me a bit. I've been doing an errand thing. And there's this template. I put Jack's analysis on the left hand side here. If I click transition, this is for the other channel, which was going to see some edited videos, by the way, soon. And so that's all that changes. I mean, it's exactly, the whole thing changes transition, but because it's the same, the human eye just sees only the camera view and the text change. All right? And it's just logically presentable. It's neat, it's tidy, consistent. Here we are with these drama channels that are convoluted, poor presentation, and people suck it up because there's a lot of weak minds that are too emotional first, without critical thinking second, and most people are emotional first, and then they think about this and that. Again, probably too emotional because you're craving things, right? You're craving the addiction, the dopamine. It's like, it's me, me, me. Here we are. This person says multiple platforms, several fundraisers, several courts in several states. I don't several courts in several states. Just Kansas and Steve's hearing somewhere else. I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, but regardless, I kind of understand where this person's coming from. They're saying, what does KJ, Steve, EKC, all these people have in common? They are creators that test freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is not your freedom to abuse other people without justification of your actions. And Mr. Attack the Idea, not a person, attacks people. Mr. Great Debate doesn't know how to debate. He just wants you to repeat what he claims. People won't debate with me. I wonder why. You're wrong, Steve. No, I'm not. I'm going to attack you for that. Yeah. I'm going to claim that you're blackmailing me or whatever. It's pathetic. It's weak and cowardly and extremely cowardly, again, when you're attacking Shada, not Katie Joy Paulson. Because that was really the target to begin with. Yeah. What the fuck are you doing? For years and years, you built up this, energy to go for Katie Joy, and then you're wasting money, time, and energy attacking somebody who was duped into supporting Katie Joy, and some bullshit that you pull out your ass and say, that she's working from. This is extreme paranoia. Again, like the kid having a nightmare. There's somebody in the corner. Turn a light on. There's nobody there. Nobody. Somebody waiting to pounce. I'm scared. Grow up. You're a man. You're older than me. You're older, 50 something. And you're somebody younger, which is not that unique. Most people are far more grounded. You've got no excuse to be this random, but it doesn't look like, but you are this random. As far as we see that you share with the world, it does. Everything handed to you so easily, things are done for you, and then you go shit all over it because people are here and there were saying, no, I think that's annoying because it's wrong because of this and that. And all he did was continuously, more and more, with more velocity, more intensity, pushed people out that would question anything that he came out with. And then brought in people, yes, Steve, I know, Steve, yes, Steve, I'll repeat everything you say, Steve. It don't matter if I think, none of them think anything's wrong. It's just keep repeating what Steve says just because Steve said it. It's like a cult fan base that Steve surrounded himself with, and put a lot of energy into that, didn't he? Yeah. It may as well not even exist. You just, if I wanted everyone to repeat everything I ever said, how would I ever know if I'm right about anything? If you think you're right all the time, you're guaranteed you're going to be wrong most of the time. Because life changes, the world changes, and a lot of comings and goings in the world need to match up. You need to not go against the grain with change. Sometimes change is tough, but if you look at psychology of narcissism, narcissists are addicted to the past. So maybe this is why, maybe in some contexts we're outside of the drama, but some of the contexts, like whatever subjects Steve might talk about, maybe at some time it was more true via people's perspective, or seemed to be, than it is now, and now proven to be wrong. But that's the past, and narcissists are addicted to the past. They're also seemingly addicted to drama because it drives the attention to them and their fantasy of coming out on top, right? On top of the intellectual hill. Pathetic. So, this person, I mean no offense, but I read that bit. I also believe that when creators speak about non-creators, it hits differently and they might respond in a different way. Creators usually gain thicker skin. Yeah, I do agree with that, because you're exposing yourself out on the world, and you can't be. I'm a private person in many ways. I love being social as well, not just. This isn't like social. I mean, people in person talking to people. And the more private you are as a person, the less likely you're going to be exposed. Charlotte has no platform, and they attack her anyway. Again, it's like attacking that which is imagined shadow silhouette on the wall because of the way the light is bouncing around a room or whatever, and creating something in the middle of the night after a nightmare. There's something in the corner. Turn a light on. Nothing there. Bunch of cowards. Thicker skin and use their channels to get their voice out and defend themselves. Yeah, you're attacking somebody who couldn't defend themselves as much because this is not their thing to be doing all this unsocial media. It's called social media, but I think it needs to be changed in the terminology a bit. So there's a bit of coming and going from that comment, and if I scroll down, this is mind-blowing, and it backs up everything I said. Is like the addiction to have it, it's all about me. It's me. Look at me. Erin has no idea what the fuck is actually going on. Even though she's been to court over this, she has no idea. She thinks it. She will, even if she hasn't already, delude herself to think that this is just about her. In this whole paragraph, she doesn't mention the word Charlotte at all. But listen to this. So a number of people have replied to that person. And here she is going, this isn't about Facebook. No, it's about Charlotte being harassed. Right? I really use Facebook. No, nobody gives a fuck if you use Facebook or not. It's about Charlotte being harassed. This case is, for my part, is entirely around Twitter. No, this case isn't about Twitter. I mean, for your part, yeah, but this isn't about you. This isn't about you. This is about the side effect that people like you have added to harassing Charlotte. This is about Charlotte being harassed. I might need some birdseed there because I'm going to be repeating this quite a bit. No Facebook posts of mine have been an issue or shown as evidence. Well, it's not about you. It's about Charlotte being harassed. Next bit. Only Twitter, the platform I repeatedly asked to be left alone on. There's a word for this. Is an acronym for this. I don't know if it's been mentioned, but certainly there's a word for that. Flipping is like, no, Charlotte was harassed. It was me being harassed, and they flip it around. I didn't get to see. I'm sure this has been talked about. I didn't get to see Cheshire's recent thingy, also rum and coke night. The platform I offered to come to a resolution on repeatedly and was told no. It's not about you. You know, this is like, oh, why is Charlotte getting all the attention because she's been harassed? What about me? I know, I'll pretend that it is about me. A fantasy again. It's like she wanted to use the court as clout, and now she gets this idea, I know. And this is very childlike. The platform I never initiate conversation on and spoke in replies, but had been constantly tweeted at without being a reply. The platform I had to tag terms of service several times to seek assistance in asking to be left alone. This isn't about you being harassed. This is about Charlotte being harassed. I'm going to look that up. Reversing blame. Acronym. Reverse blame acronym. DAVO. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. The perpetrator or offender may deny the behavior. That's what Aaron's doing. Attack the individual doing the confronting. And reverse the roles of victim and offender such that the perpetrator assumes the victim role and turns the true victim. You know, it just trying to flip it and twist it is what Aaron does. Gaslights her audience who curates a audience that is dumb enough to be gaslit to and dumb enough to repeat what Aaron says. This is what Steve's doing, is curating an audience that's dumb enough to repeat what he says. And gaslighting them, so on. Davo refers to a reaction perpetrators of wrongdoing, particularly sexual offenders, may display in response to being held accountable for their behaviour, is what I'm reading off a page by Jennifer J. Freed, PhD in psychology. DAVO stands for deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. The perpetrator or offender may deny the behaviour, attack the individual doing the confronting, and reverse the roles of victim and offender such that the perpetrator assumes the victim role and turns the true victim or whistleblower into an alleged offender. This occurs, for instance, when an actually guilty perpetrator, I mean, one more time, a guilty perpetrator assumes a role of falsely accused, assuming that role, whether it's true or not, and attacks the accuser's credibility and blames the accuser of being the perpetrator of false accusation. Yeah, you love to twist things around, worm yourself into these communities, and grift and ride around because you're pathetic. You got nothing. You can't come up with anything that's solid and credible for yourself. So instead you feel inept on that, and instead of doing anything about that, you want to jump in and worm yourself through these things like anti-vax community, anti-vaccine is stupid, wormed yourself through that. And I asked about this, and certainly it would seem like whoever's in a group to support her, she'll go along with that. She'll pretend to be an anti-vaxxer if it suits her, or be a support of vaccination if it suits her. Any limelight coming her way, and in limelight, whatever, however you want to call it, any attention then. New Darvo research, because this is what Erin's doing right there when we're reading this. We want to. What do we know about Darvo institution, Darvo and anti-Darvo plenary address at the Okay, here's a bit of. I'll look at that later. Might help and people understand Erin's clearly very dysfunctional, but willfully so. She'd rather be dysfunctional and for attention than do anything about understanding what the fuck is actually going on around her. That's a problem. Darvo as a concept was based on observation and analysis. The systematic empirical research testing the coherence or frequency of Darvo is now emerging. See specific publications listed in the section of empirical research. I'll click that link. There's a lot. Yeah, let's go back to Erin's bullshit. This is what she's doing. I saw the evidence being presented against me yesterday. Well, yeah, because you're a perpetrator in this. You're not the victim, you're a perpetrator in this. And therefore, it'd be natural to see evidence presented against you. I'm feeling more confident. No, you're not. You're not. There's no way. But this is part of your gaslighting for attention. You're not feeling confident at all. I'm feeling more confident about my case, and also feeling more frustrated that this even has to be argued. This is not about you being harassed. It's about Charlotte being harassed. You're the perpetrator, not the one that's receiving harassment. If it's harassing to be taken to ask to go to court because you wanted to use the court for clout and you've been seen as part of the perpetrator action, one of the perpetrators for harassment of Charlotte, then maybe careful for what you wish for. I know. Get all the attention. I know. Great. I would call it DramaCon. And when we go to court, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing, right? Fell flat on your face with that fucking shit, didn't you? I saw all the evidence being presented against me. This is not about... Yeah. I read that bit. I'm feeling... Yeah, I read that bit. Where am I? I will speak on my thoughts regarding how this is becoming the new norm of social media. Well, there's a lot of drama becoming a norm because of shitheads like you, and there's not enough being kind of policed by these owners of these networks. There's too much automation. Whether it be Bullhorn Betty, who's, I don't know who Bullhorn Betty is, against people, Katie Joy being TRO happy, or anyone else free speech on platforms is being no freedom of speech is not your freedom to harass people on these platforms without evidence. You know, you're going to claim somebody's doing something that paints them in a bad light. You best have proof of it. Again, no proof of came from Steve. Absolutely no proof. It's been dead and gone for a long time. You're raising the issue again more recently to detract people from the bullshit of what you're putting out now because you've got to fall flat on your face. And that's like Manya being accused of fraud, Cheshire being accused of blackmail and no proof of that. And it was only because Steve was so butthurt, the community said, oh, screw this. We're going, leave this behind. And we saw that, oh, Cheshire is still doing stuff. Let's go and see what she's doing. And eventually, just like Cheshire was in support of what the community wanted in the first place. And away we went along with her efforts that seemed to be so far more honest and genuine. Funny how Cheshire doesn't sit there and go and boast about being transparent, honest and genuine, this and that. Steve always did. Why? Because he had to hold you and convince you that he was. Why did he have to put work into that? Because he's not. Same bullshit with people like this. It's a place for myself and others' thoughts, opinions, experiences. Yeah, social media is a form of a self-expression. It's a place for yourself, others share thoughts, opinions, and experience. What I say won't be positive since life isn't positive. No one has to come and listen to me. No, they don't have to. They can listen, but they don't have to buy your bullshit just because you said it. They can say, this is wrong because of, and this isn't about you because of, and it's not about you. She thinks this is going to work. I know, I'm making it about me. I'm the victim, not, let's twist it. She really thinks this is going to work. And you're all dumb enough, the followers of EKC are dumb enough to buy this fucking bullshit. She's trying to twist something that was a case of somebody being harassed incessantly and relentlessly, an innocent person. She's trying to twist that and say, no, I'm the one being harassed. Not going to work in the court of law. It might work with some of these weak minds. Are you really that weak-minded? I think you need to use a bit of critical thinking what's actually going on. Because all people like EKC do is drag you down with them and, they cling on and use you as tools. Particularly narcissistic people will use people as tools to means their own ends. Look out for that, because it really ruins a lot of people's lives. Narcissism, it does. And it ruins their own lives, but they will pretend to be so okay and everything's going fine all the time until reality slaps them around a bit. Again, here's Erin suffering because a court case, really real, not what she imagined and fantasized about to be, which has got fuck all to do with reality and fuck all to do with her. It's not about her. She's one of the perpetrators here. And here we are, her not being able to cope very well, getting upset. It's all fine and dandy, it's going to be great, and then goes to court, and she comes and does a live show, and you can hear it in her voice. She's upset. You can hear it in her voice. She's not on camera. Body language, again, I've talked about that before. And certainly, if you hunch down here that and talk a bit, and you got something, if you can hear me a bit, I'm kind of exaggerating this to make the point. This is called vocal fry. Vanessa Van Edwards did a book on body language cues, and she calls that vocal fry. It doesn't sound very confident because if you hear somebody talking that way, It's probably because their body language is hunched over. And why they're hunched over? Because they're not feeling confident. I would imagine her body language, kind of like this when she was doing that show, and maybe the feet underneath the chair were crossed over underneath the chair. That's a insecurity thing. Maybe wiping a tear away here and there because she's upset that this isn't turning out her way that she fantasized about. Oh, DramaCon. Yeah. You childish idiots. And really, a very childish approach here that doesn't really do anything for anyone other than just feed your fantasies of I want, and your fantasy you think you're going to get. Want doesn't get. Being gets. And you're being a complete idiot. So what you're going to get is reality punishing you for it, I guess. You know, the pen's mightier than the sword. The pen's mightier than your bullshit. And courts are real. Part of reality, not part of your fantasies of DramaCon. Our space on social media is a form of self-expression. I read that bit nearly to the end of it anyway. No one has to come to me and listen. No, we don't. If they can't deal with less than positive things at times, nobody has to. Erin, you can't deal with less than positive things related to your fantasy of DramaCon. You're projecting here. If you can't deal with less than your warped fantasy, in fact, it's more than your warped fantasy because it's real. It's reality, not DramaCon. It's going to be great. We're going to have everyone there come round. This is why she sent papers in an email where she shouldn't have, sealed papers that shouldn't have been released to other people. Email to Cheshire Vic, by the way. And I wonder if that's part of the contempt of court, by the way. She wanted to do that because she wanted this fantasy. She wanted to do that. We're going to have Cheshire there. I'm going to attempt to bring everyone in. She's using law, court of law, for clout. Yeah. This is the bullshitter that you're supporting. The steaming pile of shit that takes a shit and gets bigger the more you support her. And yeah, she likes that statement. Because then, I will get bigger. You get more I support her, the bigger I get. Oh, great. But she's going to delete in her brain the steaming, yeah. But no one will tell me I can't say what I experienced. No, but your delusions on what you experienced and your fantasies are just that. They're just fantasies. Plenty of people can tell you why it's wrong, because this isn't about you. It's about Charlotte. What I think or what my opinion is on something. If you've got an opinion, you best be ready, prepared for people to say, well, I disagree. And I'll go, oh, yes, Aaron, okay then. This is what Steve's doing. Surrounding himself with people, yeah, okay, Steve. Yeah, sure, Steve. Must be true, because you said it, Steve. And they go and cry like a fucking baby when people say, well, I think you're wrong on that because of this. Or that, whatever it might be. Darvo. She's doing a Darvo. Again, to clarify, that's defamation lawsuits and the prosecution, Darvo, defamation, deny, sorry, I'm just reading something else there that associated with the Darvo page. It's deny attack and reverse victim and offender. And she'll probably blurt out, yeah, Darvo, because I'm the victim. Because that's because this is the other way, right? No, it's not. You jumped on this bandwagon for attention, is what you did. It's drama train. You saw a drama train. You thought, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be good. This is boost my channel for views and so on. Using the court for clout. Pathetic. You know, and some people who really believe that Charlotte was this evil thing. I wonder, I do wonder whether Erin actually believed Charlotte was so bad or whatever. She may have convinced herself she was. And I wonder what both of them, Charlotte and Vader, thought of Charlotte versus what they imagined her to be. I mean, obviously, what we imagine people to be when we meet them, it's got some differences, right? But I would put money on it that this was very different to how they, not just different, but very different to what they imagined versus who Charlotte really is. And yeah, again, kudos for Charlotte being in the modcall. Takes balls to do that, and definitely Cheshire has said pretty much the same, and I totally agree. Yeah. So who's really the victim here? It's not you, Erin. It's not you. You know it's not you, but you want to fantasize that's you now because you think that's your way out. Not going to work. It's going to make... You're digging here. And digging the hole there, that's going to make this worse. It'd be better for you now to just come clean and say, yes, I did this, I did that. Whatever you did. Or didn't do. And sure, the court case is not completely over, but it sounds like slam dunk to me. I'd be very surprised if it's not in Charlotte's favour. I wasn't there, but what has been shared, that is, assume has been allowed to be shared, just looks certainly not what Erin has shared. Other people, Cheshire, what Cheshire has talked about and shared with us, sounds logically consistent to how we suspected this to be turning out. Because it was very difficult to see any evidence whatsoever, and nobody would come up with any evidence whatsoever, or any inkling that Charlotte was so bad. They would just say she was. Or gaslight, circumvent, go around a subject, or say, oh no, don't look at that, look at this over here. Or do you remember when Steve said this or whatever that has nothing to do with this? Like recently, sort of resurfaced talking about Steve saying, oh, Aaron, no, not Aaron, Cheshire and Mania doing, Cheshire blackmailing and Mania somehow doing fraud somehow, and none of it adds up to anything that is, it's just, oh, I'm going to blurt this out, and there's nothing to attach it to, because there isn't anything to attach it to, because it's not an accusation that has anything to do with reality, or facts, or real comings and goings of what's really happening. Mind-blowingly stupid. Yeah, I think that's all I've got to say. A little bit of my darker side today. It's there. Everybody has one. But utilize it in ways that relate to what's actually going on. And of course, as a observer, trying to observe this stupidity, not being called as a witness, not being called as perpetrator, or whatever to call it. There's going to be other aspects that I do not know. And Aaron would latch onto that and go, yes, you do not know, therefore, and fill out with some bullshit here and there. Erin's the type of person to be the very first to claim others are gaslighting. When she's doing a gaslighting, she'll be the first to claim she's victim when she's perpetrator of victimization of others, or one of the perpetrators of this. And certainly, I've yet to see any grounding in reality that Erin can cope with from all this. Because this all her shows are, is you just... Her videos are, it's hard enough to watch them. And it's like the train crash, people you got to watch. Like, this is an accident waiting to happen. People, you just got to rub a neck and watch. So I watched a little bit. I skipped over certain things. The first 10, 20 minutes of some of her videos are like, oh, is this working? Is my camera working? Oh, it never works right. Oh, there we go. And as you blurt out something, you go, oh, what's it? And it's like, what am I doing all over the place? It's all over the map until she finds a place and continues whatever bullshit she's talking about, and it's just still very weak. And yeah, and some of her templates, she has a round oval thing to put a camera thing through, and obviously the camera thing is going to be squared. You have pixels across, pixels horizontal and vertical. That's not going to be round. It just looks wrong. It doesn't fit. She's a mess. While trying to, and it's fine. You do what style you want, but when you're trying to seem like you're a professional, know what you're doing, and then you look at it and you think, this woman's all over the map. She has no idea what she's doing. Presentation's all out of whack. It's all bullshit, and there's nothing to support what she's saying, other than in the viewpoint of people dumb enough to keep repeating what she's saying without solid enough evidence. How do you do this to yourself? You just, oh, that person said this. Are they right? Go find out. Are you able to find out? Are you able to understand really what's going on? Oh, I don't understand this. Oh, I'll go see what Erin said. Well, it's bad news. You're going in this feedback loop. This is why you feel like you're going absolutely nowhere. Because Erin is going absolutely nowhere. Am I gaslighting her followers right now that if you go down this route, it's bad news? Or am I telling the truth? If you have to question that, then, yeah, that's tough for you. Right? If you have to question what I'm coming out with is more in line with facts and observation of reality than Erin comes out with. If you have to sit there and go, is he right? Is Erin this bad? Is she doing this, twisting it around and having us believe that she's the victim, not Charlotte, and all this? And I don't know. If you don't know, and it's, I'm sorry, but it's mind-blowingly obvious. This is not about Erin. It's not about Erin. Erin wants to convince you it's about her. Wow, it may as well blow your brains out if you're that weak-minded. Think things through. The quietest person in a room is often the most intelligent. Keep that in mind. Yeah, definitely. Why is that though? Why is the quietest person in the room most intelligent? Because they're thinking things through rather than barking like a dog. at some imagined enemy who's not really an enemy. It's like a dog barking to protect his territory when the postman comes. And all the postman's doing is like, a letter for you, posting through whatever, the postbox, whatever, right? Absolutely horrendous. This is so mind-blowingly backward, and I find a struggle to understand how people could be so willfully forward in being this backward. And I think what's driving it is the uh, idea that, oh, it doesn't matter, I can grift this and I can ride on this and that, it's going to be easy for me. And when things fail, or try something else, then they beating themselves up that they think they're not good enough and then therefore not bothering to be good enough. Oh, woe is me. And we see this. It's like Aaron trying to gaslight people into believing that she's the victim, not Charlotte. Fuck off. Go crawl back under a stone and think your life view through, because it's not working. But it's fine if it wasn't working and you're not bothering anyone else. But people like this do bother other people and they get in the way of progress, and they really fuck people's lives up here and there. Charlotte's been through it by the sounds of this. Leave this person alone is all you need to do. No. I don't leave this person alone because I want this to be about me, because I got this YouTube channel, I want to put the numbers up, I wanted drama con, I wanted this, I want. Spoilt child. Really pathetic. Go and get help. Stay off the mushrooms, stay off the drugs if you can. Go get see a therapist if you can afford to. Quit drinking so many, I don't know what crap you're drinking, margaritas or whatever. And that's part of the, I briefly talk about that with my other channel. For 30 days, see how my body responds to absolutely no alcohol whatsoever for 30 days, a whole month. In terms of body fat loss here and there, alcohol doesn't pack body fat on you, but it will cause you to. It's not a direct thing, it's an indirect thing. You see, anyway, a better explanation will come through the website. Bodyacquire.com still needs a lot of work for it to be like proper launch, if you will, and we're working on that. So health-oriented articles on the blog and memberships on the website, kind of like a social platform for one subject, health. Mental health, by the way, is one of the things. It's not just physical health. The brain needs certain nutrients to keep those neurons ticking away healthy as well. Alcohol doesn't really do much for that. Cocaine doesn't, certainly. It fries. Definitely causes the addiction to dopamine, your natural dopamine, because it causes all that imbalance. Addictions, people get cravings, it's one thing, but you can bypass your cravings on some foods like here and there. But addictions, sometimes they're perpetuated by denial that there's any problem in the first place. You can't deal with it, or you convince yourself that you can't deal with it. Kind of like Erin convinced herself that she can't deal with reality. She has to make up some fantasy in the hope that, keep trying, keep visualizing this fantasy goal or this, and it's going to come true, right, Erin? Doesn't work that way. This is why it's hurting right now, because you won't, cope with reality. There's no good me saying it. They're trying to advise somebody like this, because you don't get this dysfunctional overnight. You do it years and years of habit, years and years of practice. No, I'm not a professional. I'm not a shrink or anything. But yeah, there we go. This is what they need. It's what a lot of these people need. So much emotion aimed at nowhere, though. Aimed at imaginary enemies with using people's real name and using all that to attack that real person that they imagine them to be. So there's two people. There's Shana in the real world, and then there's the Shana they imagine Shana to be because of all this bullshit. And you attack the one that you imagine to be, somehow that makes you a better person. No, you're just having a nightmare. Hope you liked the remix. Aaron's Nightmare. Why do you think I did that? Because I could see this going down this route. I got to admit, though, I did warn, before I go, I did warn that Aaron, I don't want to sound like I'm boasting about that, because other people did as well. But the point is, I warned about Aaron early on, as she's going to be bad news. But despite me warning about it, I really didn't think she was going to be this bad. She's bad. Yeah. She's extremely insecure inside, but she does nothing. Absolutely nothing to deal with it. Instead, it's these... gets all excited about these fantasies that she wants. And in terms of fantasy, it's like DramaCon, using the court as clout for views and coming on top and this and that. Has nothing to do with reality. And that's why she fails. You're not building anything on a foundation of what already exists. It's just this fake bullshit. These grifters cause damage. They do. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Take care. I look forward to doing, hopefully, a more positive video another time. It's my analysis. Am I right? Am I wrong? I leave that for people to tell me. Cheers. Bye.